धुन कोई ऐसे बजे, सुन के जो हर दिल कहे, Radio for the voice of Jaipuria, Radio for the voice of Jaipuria.
Welcome to the word of Radio Spark, the voice of Jaipuria.
Greetings to one and all. I'm Aditya Agarwal of class 11th.
I'm Inya Dwivedi of grade 10.
I am Ujjwal Rastogi of grade 11.
I am Faiza Saad of grade 11.
I am Kunal Bhatia of grade 12.
And I'm Anika Chib of grade 12. We're all members of the Round Square community and have attended various online as well as offline Round Square conferences across the globe. Before we get into the crux of today's discussion, I think it's important for our viewers to understand what the Round Square community actually is. Kunal, would you like to share with us what the Round Square conference is, as you've been to many Round Square events?
Anika, Round Square is an international network of 230 like-minded schools in 50 countries that connect and collaborate to offer world-class programs which help the students to develop competence, confidence and character. And as I have been to various offline and online conferences organized by Round Square, I basically like the ideal of Round Square of having not testing the skill and like having a normal conversation and developing some friendship among the Baraza members.
Great to know that. I think the Round Square conferences have played a very important role in developing my personality as well. Like you just mentioned, that we just make friends and it's fun conversation happening between a lot of people. I think that is what makes Round Square a little offbeat, yet interesting in a very beautiful manner. You're there, you're putting in 100% dedication, but you're not competing with anyone. So I think that's the beauty of Round Square. The Round Square logo is also very interesting with a blend of beautiful colors and elements. Aditya, would you like to tell us a little about the logo?
Yeah, actually, I find the logo to be quite dynamic and intriguing myself. The logo is basically a white circle inside a square, but the circle inside represents the whole world. And the square is the limitations of Round Square, where they represent courage, where they try to inculcate confidence and respect in their students. If you notice, the text of Round Square is a little off-center. This signifies the unorthodox teaching methods which the Round Square aims on teaching their students. That's a very, I think, different approach, a different angle which they try to seed in their students, which I find very, very helpful. I have experienced that firsthand.
Yes, Aditya, the Round Square logo, the thought process behind it is truly out of the box. Pun intended.
Also, the blend of colors I've noticed is red and white. Red on one hand represents courage, strength, whereas white on the other hand represents very contrasting traits like calmness, peace. So I think it truly brings out the meaning of Round Square, wherein you're showcasing strong emotions like courage and strength, but at the same time in a very peaceful and subtle manner. So I think the logo does bring out the mentality, ideology of Round Square in a very beautiful, quintessential manner. Alright, so the Round Square organization follows a few founding stones of its, which are also known as the RS ideals. Faiza, would you like to tell us a little about what the ideals are and who coined them?
I think before we talk about the RS ideals, we should know about Kurt Hahn. He was a German philosopher and an educationalist who had a vision of creating a school totally different from the one that he went to. He mentions this one incident in his novel. He once put in a lot of effort and a lot of time and he wrote an essay. Can you guess what his teacher's reaction was? He laughed at it in front of the entire class. So that is when he decided that I will build a school which will focus on bringing out the students' passions, their interests, not preparing them for tests. And that is what inspired the RS ideals, namely being internationalism, democracy, environmentalism, leadership, service, and adventure.
I think I totally agree with this ideology of Kurt Han, wherein he mentioned teaching, but in a very different and beautiful manner. I think round square conferences truly follow the legacy of Kurt Han, and everybody takes something away from each conference. It is definitely a learning, it is an experience, but at the same time, it's not related to any book, it is not academic. So I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful learning that happens at every conference.
I totally agree with you, Anika.
I think these ideologies will take all the participants of Round Square a long way in their life.
That's truly a very important thing. I think, yes, we will benefit from these experiences and learnings that we inculcate in these conferences. Maybe we do not realize them today, but I think years later, they will benefit us in some way or the other. Just like how we discussed about the contrasting nature of the logo, I think the Kurt Han's ideologies definitely teach us how to live in this world with contrasting ideologies and different mindsets of people. So now let's discuss about the RS ideals a little. Is there anybody who would like to enlighten us about internationalism?
Yeah, I'll do that, Anika. Round Square events promotes internationalism on a large scale. It introduces us with similarities and differences between different cultures and nationalities.
I totally agree with him. The most fond memories I have of these conferences is the cultural exchange. Learning about their food, their music, their attires was just amazing.
I totally agree with both of you. I think I've been to various national conferences as well, wherein I met some students from Japan, from the US, from Canada, and I think it was very enlightening to understand what was happening in their country during the pandemic and to know how they've been feeling, how they've been facing the tragedies that are happening across the globe. I think it was definitely a motivating point for me during the pandemic. It definitely helped me to cope with all the miseries that the pandemic had imposed on us. So I think the RS ideal of internationalism is very layered and beautiful in that sense, if you all agree. Now let's talk about adventure. Is there anybody who would like to say something about it?
Yes. For Round Square, a spirit of adventure is characterized by people who are not afraid to cross their perceived boundaries, who are not afraid to take risks, but more importantly, people who are not afraid to discover that they are capable of much, much more than they thought.
I totally agree with that point. Now let's talk about environmentalism.
Round Square develops a spirit of environmentalism in their students. It teaches us our place in the universe, the forces that shape it, and the impact we have on them. And that's truly inspiring.
I think Round Square has allowed me to think a lot about the greater good. Us, like you mentioned, Ujjwal, a few days ago you just told me that our school did a tree plantation drive inspired by Round Square. So I think the Round Square conferences, especially during the pandemic, they've made us realize how important it is to think about the environment, the universe. As being citizens of the universe, it is very important that we take care of our abode, and Round Square allows us to do it in a beautiful manner.
Yeah, it gives students an opportunity to actually explore the proven problems which we have related to environment. It's a very dynamic approach that they try to explore it themselves. They try to deliberate upon it themselves, which is very, helpful, I think, because it develops a sense of responsibility in every child.
Adding to that, Aditya, Round Square events have totally changed my perspective towards nature. I'm more responsible now. So yeah.
As Aditya just mentioned about responsibility, let's now discuss the RS ideal of leadership.
Yeah. So leadership is a key feature of Round Square events. We ourselves organize a Round Square event called Unoya each year, wherein we, the students of the school, organize the whole event.
I totally agree with you when you say that Round Square promotes leadership. I think all the Barajas are pretty, how can I say it? How do I put it in words? You can say that everybody is differently, everybody has a different perspective, you could say. And there isn't a leader or somebody in the conference, but somehow when you end a conference, when you bid your goodbyes to the people, you feel that you've earned a sense of managing a group. And I think that is the beauty of Round Square, wherein you learn leadership, but not in a very old-fashioned manner. Like, a lot of people agree that leadership isn't just about making people believe in your ideologies. It is about learning about what other people feel, about other people's ideologies, and putting them in equal respect as yours. I think Round Square has made me done this, and I think I could truly call myself a leader if I accomplished this ideology of the Round Square community. Let's talk about service now.
Coming across different cultures and nationalities, I'm now more inclined towards the service for the greater good of the society. So yeah, Round Square has helped me to be better as a person.
This shows us how Round Square, its ideals not only help us evolve as a better people, but us evolving as better people also helps the world in general. If we learn how the environment is important, how acts of service can benefit other people, we are also creating a better world for future generations.
I totally agree with that ideology of yours, Zinya, which brings me to democracy, which is another very important RS ideal. So, would you like to enlighten us about that?
Yeah, one of the main objectives of Round Square is to cultivate a sense of democracy in its students. Equality, fairness, justice, and more importantly, a desire to do what is right for the greater good. I attended a Round Square conference regarding the evolution of democracy in the pandemic, and I'm glad to admit that I left that conference as a richer global citizen.
I think you truly bring out a very different perspective of democracy. I think when we talk about democracy, the first thing that comes to our mind is about a nation, about its people, about what's mentioned in its constitution. But I think Round Square brings about a sense of global democracy, but at a very local perspective, wherein 17, 18 students in a baraza are sitting together, have very different views from each other, but yet somehow at the end of the conference, they come together as a team. So I think, yeah, we should end on that note, that Round Square is a very holistic organization which helps you understand yourself as well as others in a very beautiful and better manner. So I think, yeah, that is us signing off. Round Square members, thank you so much for being a part of today's podcast. We hope to see you in episode 2. Thank you so much.